Alright guys, so this video is going to be a somewhat of a tutorial, but more of just my own run through of the CAD assignment for this week to make a flower. Again, a shout out to Eric for where this idea came from. You guys should all take a look at his design. It is just such an awesome way to say, you know what, like it's a concrete idea, right? Everyone, you can picture a flower. It's not as wide open as make anything for a garden, but it still has a lot of flexibility. Because again, I don't want you guys to have to build a very specific thing, and then if you can't do it, it's frustrating. That was how I had to learn CAD, and it was terrible. It was tutorials of make this very specific thing, or homework assignments where you have to CAD up a specific model, and then when you can't do it right, it just feels bad. So I like the idea of us kind of having using some creativity and maybe even some imagination as you guys are building your own flowers, where if you get frustrated, you can walk away and either leave it as is or reach out to me for some help. So let's dive in here. We're creating a document. This will be TEEP Week 5 Flower Demo. Public document. Awesome. So a couple of you have already gotten the sense of how important planes are in this, and so I'll kind of try to do my best to walk through how to handle planes. There's also requests to look at lofting. I think lofting is one of the best tools. Honestly, most of my work in this is kind of these tools here. Not as much of thickening that I usually handle with doing extrudes the way I want to, but there's lofting, but there's absolutely merit to thickening than doing just like edge work with fillets and chamfering. And that's kind of it for the most part outside of linear and circular patterns. But we'll try to tap into those, at least all of those today. And then as you guys want to use other things like holes, like shells, like ribs, I recommend again looking those up yourself, but I'll go through kind of the basic thing here. So, and also this is a YouTube video, so if I'm moving slowly as I'm trying to do this live, you can just hit the fast forward button. There won't be too much narration, or I'm sure it'll actually be a lot as I'm rambling through a lot of this. But I wanted to make it a YouTube video so that you guys could easily see what I'm doing. So we highlighted at the top. I'm going to start by making the my flower pot. So I'm going to enter a sketch here in the top left. Start with a nice circular hole. Get that highlight there. You see the concentric icon bottom right. Make it a certain size. Something I like to do a lot of my sketching. This is a very engineering thing to do that I don't think is super necessary, but is just ingrained in me, is you hit this dimension and then click on the thing you want to add a dimension to. You can say, okay, this is currently 1.42. Let's make it a nice even 1.5, and then I hit enter. Automatically sets it. If I ever want to change this, I can just go right here, double click, and change it. Otherwise, you'd have to go back into your sketch to change it. So we're going to leave it like that for now. Cool. Nice, easy circle. But now I'm going to create a new plane because I want to create this pot. I want it to go down. I want it to drop below the top. So we're going to right click on top, hit offset plane. And you can see right now it's offsetting it up. I'm going to hit this arrow to move in the opposite direction. And I want my pot to be 3 inches. And I hit enter. And that's going to be a pretty tall pot. I look at that and say, you know what? Let's make it 2. Wonderful. So it'll be a nice narrow pot. Could even make it a vase if I wanted to. Check. So for me, so we're going to go now to plane 1. You guys can see it's still there. If it's ever getting annoying, you can click on this eye socket here. I apologize, my phone's vibrating. You can click on this eye socket here, and it'll make it disappear. So it's great for building with, and then if you ever want it to go away because you get too many planes, you just hide it nice and easy. So I'm going to highlight that, go to sketch. I want to view this from the bottom, so I'm going to click here, click on bottom, orient me perfectly. So now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty clumsy. So I want a plane I want a bottom shape that is going to be very kind of topple resistant, I'll say. So I'm going to go with a center point rectangle, and I'm going to try to make a big kind of cross shape here. And then, you know what, I will leave that and I'll do a rotation. And I'll just do it. It's actually much easier. Just draw another one. Then I'm going to go to my dimension tools and say, all right, I want this to be a full inch. Oh, did it to all of them? That was unexpected. Okay, no, it's not. Cool. So make an inch there. This is super wide. I'll try to bring this in just a bit. Like that. And like that. Great. So I have that going. I could again dimension these lines as well. I don't think that's too important, but you can see I have these two full sketches. A tool that is absolutely amazing and so needed for sketches is the trim tool. So I'm going to click this, and essentially what trim does is it'll take away parts of the sketch to make it all one unit. Because right now, let's say I were to click out of this and then go to loft. So I select my circle, but then then it's going to select each thing on its own, and that's not what I want. I can certainly keep clicking on these things, but it's going to get angry, as you can see with the red text. It is not happy with it. So I'm just going to exit out of this and go back into Sketch 2 by double clicking it over here. I'm going to take that trim tool, these scissors here, and just click on the inside lines. So look, now it's that perfect open cross shape. I hit check. Looks wonderful. Now it should, this is the downside of doing this live, should loft. Yeah, awesome. So it's a little wonky. As you can see, it kind of curves the loft. And that's because you typically with lofts need to match vertices, which is not something we did here. But that's okay. I'm happy with this for now. If I wanted to be extra careful with it, you can create if I were to go back into Sketch 1, you can create your circle with a series of arcs, which will then add vertices to it where you want them. So essentially, you could break it down into the quadrants you want those lofted alleys, I don't know what to call those, lofted steps to come up to. But for right now, I'm going to say this just looks really cool. If you wanted to hollow it out, probably the easiest way to do it would be to draw on top of the circle. So I just to do that a little slower, I hit sketch and said, okay, I want to sketch on the top of this. Great. I'll then select top in the top right here so I can just orient better. Then I'll say, you know what, I want to make this about that thickness. Again, I can always throw a dimension on it to say, you know what, I want this to be a little bit thicker wall to make it 1 inch. Hit check. Then I can extrude. Click on the circle. Right now it wants to add to the top. No. I want to remove. So you see these tabs here? I want to remove. And it's going to go down 1 inch. Let's call it 1.8 inches. Bring it really close to the bottom. Just leave a 0.2 inch depth. Hit check. And there you go. All the way in there. So we have our pot. Wonderful. I'm going to draw our stem coming from the very bottom of this. So I'm going to select the bottom, hit sketch, and again orient myself to the top so I know I'm drawing right in the center there. And you know what, I want to make kind of a funky flower, so I'm going to make a rectangular base as I click the rectangle tool. Give it a little bit like that. And I'm going to leave that for right now, because then the next step is going to be to draw the outline I want to. You can I recommend sweeping. You could loft as well with some guides, but I think stems are more fun to sweep. So we'll orient ourselves to the right, enter a sketch. Now I'm going to use a spline tool. Splines are super fun. Excuse me. You can make a lot of different shapes with it. So I'm just do a spline starting from about the bottom. If you want to be precise, you can like really zoom in. Because you're in a different sketch, it won't snap to it, but it's pretty smart about how to handle it. You can just zoom in like crazy, click your starting point, and then zoom way back out, and you'll be in pretty good shape. So I want it to be kind of narrow starting out, so you can keep within the lines. Kind of do a little zigzag, and then bring it maybe way far out here. And to end it, you just double click. Actually, I'm going to redo that. So we're going to escape the spline because I should have double clicked on the last one. So you can see with the little dotted line, I'm in the at least on that middle line. Start my thing, 1, 2, and then for the last one, I want to double click. I need to move this as well. There we go. The last one, I'm going to double click. Boom. The spline is done. Hit check. Now I'm going to click the sweep button. So for sweep here, say the faces I want to sweep. I want to sweep because this is going to be hard to click on. I might be worried about this. I can just click right on sketch 4 and it'll know that I want to sweep that. And for the sweep path, click right on sketch 5. Okay. Oh man, that looks funky. That went way further out than I expected. But that's okay. Because what I can do is I'm going to say okay to this. You can even keep the profile orientation, which I probably will. Because right now what this is trying to do is like turn the rectangle as it moves. As you can see, leads to some funky results. I'm going to keep the profile orientation to smooth that out. Then I'm saying I'm going to go back to sketch 5. This was a little too far out. So I can change it. I can click this dot and pull it in. Make sure I really have it where I want it. Raise things up. Ooh, goodness. This is funky. And then I'm going to hit check. And it should actually propagate. Oh, it got unhappy with me. That's the one downside. Oh yeah, I made it too sharp. So what I was trying to do that I will continue to try to do is edit the actual drawing so that it'll just propagate right away. But as you can see, it takes a little bit of finesse. So we'll try to check again, and there we go. Awesome. So as you can see, I had the sweep done, but then I went back to sketch 5, edited it, saw that it was unhappy, went back to edit it again. So this one has a nice little ledge here. So now I want to create the head of the flower. This is where it can get a little more intricate if you want to be robust with your design. I want to make my flower so that it actually hangs down. And to do that, I want to start from this plane here. So what I could do is click on this, enter a sketch, do it from the top, and that would work. But instead, I want to orient another plane and show you guys how you can do that. So I'm going to enter sketch 5 because if I want to reorient this, I need to understand what the distance is. So this is where the dimension tool works as an output as opposed to an input. So I click that dot, click the top dot, and now I know it's 5.74 inches. 5.724 inches. So I'll hit check there, and then when I want to go now change the top plane and offset it. Oh my goodness, I already forgot the number. That's what happens when you do this live. 5. You know what? I'll be a very good engineer. I'm going to write that down. Never too many notes. Go to the top plane, offset. I'm going to offset it up by 5.724. Hit check. Where'd you go? It's not liking that. I'm really not sure why. Yeah, this is probably the part I'm least familiar with in the software. So you can see it can be frustrating for me too. Oh no, it's just all the way up here. Aha. Classic math error. I'm going to take a moment to see if anyone can see what I just did wrong there. I measured the spline from here to here, but then tried to offset the plane from here to here. So I could take off the distance from here, but instead I'm going to delete this, go to plane 1 and offset that. So right click plane 1, offset up 5.724, voila, and that puts it right about where I want it. Cool. Oh, it doesn't actually. Might have the numbers wrong. So this is a case where maybe the robust way was not the best. I'm not going to stop this video and redo this because I think it's good for you guys to see that even me who has a ton of experience in CAD, sometimes you do stuff and it's entirely unexpected. This video is going to end super soon because I only have a 15-minute cap. So I'm going to do the end really fast. So I started a sketch here, going for the top view. We're going to draw a nice, what are we going to draw? Oh, select a plane here. We'll select that. We're going to create a fun little shape. So I'm going to draw a circle from here